Being a teenager is probably the worst part about the growth process, and here's why. There's pressures everywhere. There's pressures everywhere for teenagers. There's pressure in their family, their friends, their school, their teachers, their online presence. There's pressure legitimately everywhere, and those pressures cause worries. It causes them to think, and they're constantly motivated. You need to think constantly. You need to think. You need to use your brain. But suddenly, when they think too much, they become trapped in themselves. They become depressed. They become like, why can't I do these things that other people are doing? Why am I like this? They're constantly forced to think, but then they're blamed for thinking. They're blamed for forming their own opinions. They're blamed for trying to have a voice in a world that is just not going to listen to them, right? And people act like it's their fault, that they're being too loud or they're being too quiet. That's not the teenager's fault. It's your adaptation to listening. You're not fucking listening. No one is listening. And then there's the thing about privilege in schools and stuff like that. There's things directed at underprivileged kids, but suddenly when you're an underprivileged kid that does not have the exact circumstances that they want for you, suddenly you can't do those things, and it's your fault somehow. Example, sports. You're expected to have your own transportation, and sports is one of the only ways you're going to get a good full-ride scholarship to a college in high school. And college is something you're constantly forced to think about. You're constantly forced to think about what's your future, what's your future plans. There's constantly this, that, another thing. And there's constant things about thinking about your grades. And, you know, a lot of kids, I can't relate to this, but there's a lot of kids that don't process things very fast, that need resources. But again, those resources aren't aimed at the right people. Those resources are only accessible if you have extra time. But a lot of underprivileged kids do not have extra time. They need to go take care of their family. They need to get home because they have a 2-hour fucking long bus ride back home because they decided that they wanted to go to school, which it's not even a decision. They're forced to go to school, but they're constantly piled shit onto them. And you literally can't do anything if you don't have a high school degree. You are constantly just fucked. You're fucked in every single thing, right? And that is the reason why a lot of teenagers act out. A lot of teenagers get lazy. A lot of teenagers get on certain things. It's because it's a freedom for them. And that's because, despite what people say, teenagers don't have a lot of freedom to be themselves. They don't have wiggle room. They're trapped in a box that's constantly being filled, and it just fucks them over.